What's going on, guys? Once again, we are here, Just Drive, Cars and Life. I'm your host, Naveed, and lo and behold, we have Byron here with us. How you doing today, Byron?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for being here on the show.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Is it your first time on a video podcast?
First time on a video podcast? Yes, officially.
How's your experience so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Sorry if your phone fell that right there, but anyways, we're going to cut to the chase. So you're another BMW guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm a douchebag.
The typical asshole BMW owner.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
I take two parking spots.
Two parking spots.
As far as I can.
Yeah, park all the way in the back, and you don't use your blinkers.
Yeah, I run out of blinker fluid. So.
You've run out of blinker fluids. That's funny. That's really interesting. But you have probably one of the unique BMW platforms.
The E92?
Absolutely.
Yeah. E92 has come a long way, I have to say that.
Yeah, you have a long list. So what? You've got it supercharged, right?
Yes, sir.
Injectors, K&N, tune from VF Engineering.
Yeah, custom tune from VF.
No shit.
Yeah, typically they don't give custom tunes, but since I've upgraded 3 times, they were kind enough to be like, you know what, we'll do you a solid.
And you've had the car for a while now.
Since November 14th of 2014.
No way.
Yeah. Good
experience so far?
Yeah, believe it or not, having the vehicle, the only major issue I had was my power steering rack.
Okay, so what happened with your power steering rack?
Went to a car meet, and all of a sudden, as I went into the car meet, all of a sudden, power steering started going out, and it turns out that my whole power steering rack was shot. Power steering pump started leaking.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it making that noise, that power steering noise?
Yeah,
too?
it makes that whenever you turn.
So mine is slowly doing that, but I think, because I haven't driven my car in about a week and a half, so I think all the power steering fluid probably froze up in my lines, and I have to warm up the car like a lot so that finally it can just go smooth. But yeah,
right,
that sucks.
Well, you'll know because your steering wheel starts to shake too.
And then don't you get a code for it?
No, believe it or not, you don't. Well, you don't see it on the panel,
right?
But if you put the scanner, you should get a code.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing that we hate about BMWs, right?
Yeah, and then to fix is double
an arm and a leg. Yeah,
it's an arm and a leg. You pay an tax.
Yeah, yeah. It's like BMW is charging you separate taxes, pretty much.
Correct. Pretty much. Yeah. Just because you're driving them.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, with the way that it drives and it handles, like, there's nothing outside of that. There's nothing different, right? It's just a different atmosphere.
It is, man. When you drive an M series vehicle versus a 3 Series, normal 3 Series, like a 335, which would be the competitor.
Right.
There's no comparison.
But you've always had M's, right? You didn't have a 335, or did you?
Well, as far as the BMWs, yeah, I've had 3 M's.
3 M's, okay. So M life for life, pretty much.
Yeah. If I was getting on the BMW, I'd have to get M.
Why didn't you go with the M5 S85?
To be honest with you,
isn't the only difference is that you have a DCT V8 and I have a naturally aspirated SMG and 2 more cylinders. That's only the difference.
That's pretty much the only difference, my friend. And you weigh a little more.
I do weigh a little bit more.
Yeah. So
But why didn't you go with that?
I was looking for a 2-door coupe, and the M5 they don't make in 2-door at that time.
But you could have bought the M6.
Could have bought the M6, but I didn't want the M6 at the time. That wasn't my price point either, to be honest with you. Because I actually traded in an Acura TL for this BMW.
I see.
It was a 2010 TL, super handy all-wheel drive. I was super excited. That was my daily driver. And I went ahead and traded it in for the E92 at the time.
Which was a competition package. So how did you manage to get that?
So believe it or not, I searched all over the United States. This was, you're talking 2014, and mine's an 11, so it's 3 years old at that point.
Were you living in Texas at that time too?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I've been living here since 04. So yeah.
Okay. So you've been here for fresh.
Yeah.
Nice.
What it came down to is I did just a broad search all over the United States. I found some cars in Florida and in California. Typically, when you want to buy these types of vehicles, you want to buy them in a warm climate area.
Obviously. So anywhere in the South region. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Florida, Texas, Nevada. You
buy it up north,
Arizona.
they might have some undercarriage.
Right. And no matter how hard you try to winterize the car, it doesn't do you any justice still.
No, unless the cars are garage kept.
Correct.
They only take them out every so often.
But in that aspect, though, wouldn't you think that the car would be more reliable because you're not driving it as much, or
Well, I mean, if you're not driving it, then yeah, right, it's going to be reliable.
so it's pro, but it has its pros and cons because you're still in the winter atmosphere.
Right.
Like if you had the M3 up in Jersey, because you're from Jersey, right?
Correct. Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, from Jersey.
Yeah, man, Jersey's not that good.
I mean, I've already told you.
I shouldn't say that. Jersey is an awesome place to visit, to stay, and take a tour of, but I wouldn't recommend to live there. Not northern New Jersey, maybe central or south Jersey.
But did you? But you lived there though. In the beginning,
I lived there for 28 years. Yeah.
28 years, and from. But where were you before New Jersey?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey all my life. I was born in New Jersey.
Nice.
And I was
so you're a real Jersey boy.
Yeah. I drink water, coffee. I got cars.
You know how you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah. You know. For sure.
I see. Okay. Do you miss Jersey?
Yeah, I do. My family's over there. Friends. You know, pretty much that's where the car scene that I grew up in formulated, right? Because New York, New Jersey.
Right. How is the car scene up in Jersey compared to Dallas?
Well, you know, when I lived there up to 2004, it was a lot of Honda Civics, Acura Integras, GSRs, some Fords here and there, a lot of Mustangs, old school Camaros.
So JDMs and classics primarily.
Yeah, if you were to go racing in Jersey illegally, or I shouldn't say that, you want to go to Mexico, it would be all Honda Civics with built motors, little little four bangers and stuff like that. But you come to Texas, it's more muscle.
Yeah, Texas is formerly known about American muscle more than German, more than Italian.
Yeah, and another thing too, in Jersey, your car was not safe because where I lived, you had to park in the street, you had a driveway,
right?
But you had to park in the street, right?
And the streets are narrow.
And the streets are extremely narrow. And if it snows, you have snow taking up like 3 or 4 parking spots,
and you're done.
So your nice little hooked up ride now is on top of a snow mountain. And then that's when these thieves come around and they start taking all your shit off.
Right. Yeah, that's not what you want.
Yeah.
So shucks. Well, how's your experience in Texas been since 04?
I actually like it, man. Texas is a great place to live.
Can you consider yourself as a Texan?
I think so. I've been
at this point. Yeah,
I've been here almost 17 years.
Yeah, but you're not a Cowboys fan. You're a Giants fan.
Thank God for that. Thank God for that, man.
Okay, well, nothing wrong with that. But your dad was a mechanic.
Yeah, so my dad's a mechanic back home. Has a shop.
Okay.
He actually brought me into cars. Wanted me to kind of run the family business, kind of take over from there. But you know, to be extremely honest with you, I don't mind working on cars.
Yeah.
But just the money wasn't there, right?
I see.
So to me at the time, there was really not much money to make in mechanics. Maybe now today with all the new latest technology and computers.
Like you wouldn't move anywhere else to be a mechanic?
You got to pay me, man.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it.
And how was the job market during that period? If you wanted to be a mechanic.
If I wanted to be, well, there's a lot of competition.
I see.
In order for you to really make your money, you have to own the shop. You can't be one of the shop workers. You can't just be a senior tech, a senior mechanic.
And how old were you during that time when you figured it out?
17, 18, 19 years old.
17, 18. Okay, so going fresh into college, pretty much.
Correct. Yeah, actually through my college years.
Through your college years,
I see.
So after college, you said, screw this, I'm going to go to telecom.
Well, that's the interesting part. I ended up going to Lincoln Tech University in New Jersey, which is like UTI here.
Correct.
I did it for the first 3 months because my dad wanted me to.
Uh-huh.
And during that experience, I was like, okay, they said, you know, when you get out of school, you're going to make, you know, you'll start making at least $15, $20 an hour. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be able to buy me a BMW if I really wanted one, or a Mercedes at the time. You know what I mean? So
you were already thinking luxury when you were in college.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all these cars coming in at my dad's shop, I'm like, man, you know, I want that Beamer, I want that Mercedes.
See.
You know what I mean? So I was already thinking big, thinking Lexus, thinking luxury. Okay. You know, I was driving a Hyundai at the time, a Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah, but you're in college. You can't expect a college, person to drive a, $50,000, $60,000 car, right? I mean, I didn't. Like my college, my first car was a truck. It was an F-150.
Right.
And I had it through my first 2 years of college. And then I told my dad, like, I don't want to spend gas money because I would drive from Denton to Dallas. My junior year of college, I drove from McKinney to Denton 5 days a week to go to school.
That's far, man.
With my truck. And I was like, I'm sick and tired of spending $400 on gas.
I was about to say your gas.
Yes. And so after that, I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I do not want to drive this truck anymore. We got to get something that gets better gas mileage. And sure enough, we got the Volkswagen Passat, brand new, 2012, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So, but I think about like BMWs? Did I ever think about Mercedes? And in my opinion, I didn't. I was like, for now, I just want to focus on this platform.
Right.
You know, I honestly didn't get into car shows till probably 2013, 2014. I wanted to go, but I never knew when they started. I never knew where they hosted them. I just never knew about it. Every once in a while, I would just drive on the road and I'm like, oh, there's a car show going on. Well, shucks, when was this? And I was like, well, I don't want to go with my Volkswagen Passat into a car show. They probably tell me to leave, you know? So that's when me and my dad opened up the dealership. And that's when my rotation of cars started coming through during that period of time. And then that's when I slowly started getting into the car shows. So, and now I've been heavy into the car shows for the last, 2 years now, 2.5 years, ever since I got the M5. But yeah, man, mechanic wise, when we had our dealership with my dad, it was cool to work on them.
Right.
It was cool to have the dealership. There was a lot of money that was coming into the dealership, but when personal things start coming into life and challenges get harder and harder and harder. Yes, so at one point, I told my dad, Dad, I can't do this at all. No, I'm not going to do this.
Really?
And I was in school at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
My junior year of college, when we opened up the dealership, at one point, the recession was so bad that I was like, Dad, if we want to
back in 08?
This was back in 2012 when it happened again. Okay. A couple years later. And we had the dealership open, and it was just overwhelming after a while, you know, because you have to put in so much work. Wake up, go to the auction, check out the car, make sure the car is okay, purchase the car, make sure it's okay after you purchase it, bring it back to the dealership, making sure everything's okay. A lot of steps. And, you know, and when I was in school, you know, there were times where I had to do it by myself, you know, because my dad had to focus on other things. And I'm just like, man, this sucks. This really sucks. So that's why we got out of it. As soon as I graduated and got my job with American,
right,
it was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, you know. And
you just decided to stop doing it?
Yeah, but I was still in the car thing. You know?
How'd your dad feel about that, though?
My dad wished that we was still part of it, but the thing is that he ended up getting a better job, and because for his former employee or employer, he ended up getting the same job back after the period. But he already had a good job going during that time. So, but then again, he fell back and he was like, okay, well, we're making good money now. But, right. And the dealership, I know we've established it, but we don't have time. That was the issue. We didn't have time. And to be honest with me, I didn't want to let go of school to focus on a dealership, even though the money was there. I was like, let me focus on my education first. And it worked out for me, you know, for the majority of the time. I mean, right now I'm getting my master's degree. Right?
Yeah, which is outstanding.
Yeah. So, but other than that, yeah, car scene and car problems, mechanical problems, when you start thinking about it, it puts a toll on you after a while.
Well, not just that, plus your wallet.
Plus your wallet, but your level of patience.
Yeah.
Level of patience. I mean, right now your RS is up in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, it's at Panda Motorworks in St. Louis.
Right.
It's actually been there since June of last year.
Yeah, so, which we'll talk about on the next episode. Okay. We don't even want to talk about your RS yet, so we're focused on the BMW right now. But why BMW?
You know, I've always wanted to own one.
Okay.
Just never had the money, never had the resources to buy one. I always had to settle for domestics.
Okay.
Honda Accord. Well, Hyundai was more Korean at the time. But I never really, you know, the cars that I had before that were like a Mazda MX-6.
Okay.
6-speed.
Okay.
It's another rendition of the Ford Probe GT back in the day. Had two Dodge Neon SRT4s that were both little turbo cars, little four bangers.
Okay.
That's actually what I moved to Texas with. I brought a blue one over with me.
Okay.
Then from there, let's see. That's when I ended up, right after that is when I got the E46 M3. I got an Imola Red.
Do you regret selling that car?
Yeah, I do. I do. That car was solid, man. I bought it, believe it or not, I bought it with 60,000 miles. It was 2002.
What year did you buy it, though?
I bought it in 07.
07, so 5 years old, but still.
Yeah, it had 60,000.
Right.
But I sold it with 88. So in 7 years that I owned it, I put 28,000 miles.
Really?
I only put 4,000 miles a year on that car. It stayed in the garage with my beauty queen because she was like nice and red cherry. Yeah.
Manual?
No, it was SMG, man.
SMG.
And 2002 was the first year they came out with the SMG. The sequential manual gearbox.
Okay.
So I had the original.
Okay.
It was Imola red with black interior,
Okay.
right? Most what I did to it was a full exhaust, intake, tune, wheels, suspension. Other than that, that's it. And I got rid of it thinking, I'm not going to do anything to it. I thought about supercharging it, maybe even putting a turbo from Horsepower Freaks. But the potential of that car was probably about 500 to the wheels. And I wanted something more than that.
I see.
What ended up happening is, since the car just sat in the garage most of the time, I mean, I took it out to car shows and car meets and things like that. But since it sat in the garage, I'm like, you know what? The time has come and gone.
But, I mean, even with the time come and gone, did you ever take it to drag strips? Did you take it to racetracks?
Yeah. So
did you track the car?
Yes. So I've taken it to Motorsport Ranch in Crescent.
Okay.
As part of Apex Driving Academy.
Okay.
Took it there. Took it to a few BMW Autocross events, Lone Star Chapter events.
Okay.
And then I took it to the track.
Siri here. Let me know.
Sorry about that. I don't know why Siri wanted to join us, but okay.
She's interested.
Keep going.
Yeah, so I would take it to, for example, Innis. But the car ran 12s. It wasn't really that fast. So in order for me to make it...
For a straight 6?
Yeah, for the 3.0 inline 6.
For what it is? You don't think so?
3.2 inline 6, yeah.
How come you never turboed it? You could have turboed it.
I never thought about... Well, I told you, I thought about putting a Horsepower Freaks.
And it's funny how you say that, because the E36 M3 that I just bought yesterday,
right?
I didn't know I can turbo it.
Absolutely, big single turbo.
I had no clue, and I was like,
"Be a rocket, man! That thing will be over 700 horsepower."
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun track car, for sure.
Well, E36 is known to be at the track all the time, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I don't know why. I think I was destined to get this E36 M3. I mean, I know it sounds really bragging, but literally the night before. Like I said, I just had this opportunity, and I was like, I'm just going to go on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. I was like, but everybody goes on Facebook Marketplace nowadays to get their sub versus Craigslist. It's like they're overcoming Craigslist.
Now charges, though. Not sure if you realize that. Now they charge
for their advertisement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before it was free.
Correct.
Now they charge you.
Right.
So that's why people, I think, use Facebook.
Right. And so okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
But then again, you could promote on Facebook, or is that OfferUp?
No, you can't. Well, okay. OfferUp is just if you're trying to unload something real quick.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of this real quick.
Yeah, but I like OfferUp too. It's simple and easy. You take a picture,
you get a lot of scammers though.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So, anyways, going back to when I was on Craigslist, I saw this. I was like, this does not make any sense. Really? That's a BMW M3? Okay. Because initially, there were times where I would find an E46 salvage with 140,000 miles on it, manual, I think 6-speed, and the guy wanted $7,000 for it, but I'm like, bro, this car was totaled twice.
Yeah, it's been through some shit.
I was like, man, unless if I really didn't care, then obviously I would just have it. But man, I have seen an Imola Red M3 manual at my shop where I used to previously take my M5.
Right.
And I still do, but when I saw the Imola Red, I was like, that's a nice color.
It really was, man. It was a sharp, deep red. And that's the main reason why I got it. So imagine with black interior.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you're a lot happier with your current M3.
Well, So then from the E46, I moved
back to the story, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the E46, I sold it.
Okay.
Right? And at the time, I still had my Acura TL.
Okay.
So once I sold the E46, all I had was a TL. I didn't have and I had my little daily driver, which is another car. But so what I did is the money that I got from the E46, when I traded in the TL, I just dumped it all into the E92 and bought the supercharger right away. That's how I was able to get it.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. So I sold.
Byron, I'm fucking jealous, dude.
Well, okay.
Because when I saw that supercharger on it, and I saw the supercharger for my car, bro, $15,000?
Yeah.
$20,000?
Yeah.
Hell no, dude.
It's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, bro. I'd rather look for a used supercharger at that point.
Right.
And then when I bought the E36 yesterday, I was looking up superchargers. It's like $4,000 for the E36. I was like, I might go that route.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But I mean, for everybody to speak for their own. But man, okay. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. So
not that I'm trying to judge or anything, but I'm just like, golly, if I hit $15,000 and I drop cash right there and I got myself a supercharger.
So I played with house money in a sense because I sold the E46, sold it for $18,000.
Yeah.
And used all of that into the E92. So right away I bought the supercharger, I bought the full exhaust. So within 6 months of having the car, I already had all that set up and ready to go.
And then with the whole entire carbon fiber accents, and then
Well, the carbon fiber started coming gradually because at the time I really didn't like too much carbon, to be honest.
Why?
It's just
But did yours come with the carbon fiber roof?
yeah.
The competitions do.
Well, all E92 M3s coupes
Come with the carbon fiber.
Well, you can get it with the sunroof, but I got the one with the carbon fiber.
I see.
So it was an option. You could buy it with the carbon.
You didn't want to deal with the sunroof?
No, man, because I was going to track the car. And
I see.
Carbon fiber is so much lightweight, you probably lose about 300 to 400 pounds.
Of course. Okay, and then you also have a carbon fiber diffuser. You have a carbon fiber front lip, carbon fiber hood,
Yep.
carbon fiber side mirrors.
Yep.
Interior, you have carbon fiber as well.
Yes, actually, it came with some carbon fiber from the factory.
Oh, really? It did. Okay.
BMW carbon fiber.
I see.
Factory, yeah.
Okay, interesting. How do you like the DCT?
Man, that is the best transmission I've ever driven.
Shit,
And
I
I'll
wish it was on the M5, man. I don't understand why they didn't do it.
You know what's funny is that they're doing away. So BMW is doing away completely with dual clutches. They're no longer having them.
What are they going to be now?
Man, I knew you were going to ask me this question. I should have been prepared. But
Is it an MCT like Mercedes? A multi-clutch
no,
transmission?
no. They have a different name for it. But they're doing away with the DCTs that are like in my car. All the E series models, some of the F series models like the F80 M3, F82,
Yeah.
F83 M3.
Okay.
They're doing away with those dual clutches. So they're coming up with a lot of manuals and a lot of automatics, but nothing like the
In between.
in between. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you what, dual clutch. If you're looking to race, go to track.
Yeah.
You're looking at circuit racing, autocross, drag racing. Dual clutch is the way to go, man.
Dual clutch is the way to go. But and here was one thing that I was really happy with when my car was in the shop for 5 months because I needed a new SMG transmission.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, that was a 5-month process, man. And I wish it was a manual. I think I would have been better off with a manual.
Well, manual would have been cheaper and it probably would have been fixed faster.
Well, not only that, it's rare too, because there's only 1,300 of them out of the 20,000 that they've made. And the U.S. is the only country that was allowed to have them in manuals. So,
Really?
yes, so if you're in Germany, you will not have it in manual. You will have to purchase it here.
Really?
Literally. You have to purchase it here and ship it back to yourself, pretty much. Yeah. And a lot of people do that. Because they're just like, I can't find a manual. I might as well just buy it and ship it here, and they want to pay the money for it.
Right.
Yeah. But other than that, I was going to go with it. I wish they could have figured out if they could put a DCT with a V10 engine in it. But I don't know. For some reason, they were like, let's go with the F1 derived SMG transmission.
I'm sure there's a way you can do it.
Obviously now they're doing conversions. There's a guy in California right now that's trying to focus on it. Gintani tried to do it, but the guy that has it, I think he's like saying that no, it's not really. I mean, it acts like a DCT, but it isn't.
Right.
I saw a YouTube channel of this team out in England that have perfected it, the DCT swap on an M6, which is really impressive. But I think I would figure out the real capability of my motor if I had a DCT transmission in my car. The only true DCT M5 that's out there is the prototype that they made by BMW.
And that's it. And where's that car? In Germany?
It's probably in the car show in Germany. Yeah, probably at the museum at BMW.
Yeah, at the Wealth BMW.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, but man, that DCT is something else.
Yeah. You've driven a DCT before? Okay. So then, like
it's a different atmosphere.
Well, there's nothing like having a manual because you control the power.
Right. Well, I mean, besides controlling the power, going back to the DCT, when the car was in the shop, a buddy of mine up in Jersey, his name is Sammy, he's in the M5 world.
Okay.
He came back and said, he was like, Naveed, he said, you need to get a spec stage 3 clutch flywheel. And I was like, okay, I'll go with it. And the maximum output of that was 700 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
If you wanted to, you can get an upgraded version. I think it was like 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. But I was like, let me give it a shot. And here's the thing. With that car, from third gear all the way through, it acts like a DCT.
Does it?
Yes. Yeah. Crazy.
Does it pull like a DCT?
Not as much, but you feel like it's a DCT.
Okay.
You feel like it's a DCT.
Because DCT is like a crisp shift.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't skip a beat.
No, you don't. You keep on going. With this one, but the thing is that lag isn't as much, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because with SMG, there's a little bit of a lag.
Correct. First, second, and third, you get a lag.
Yeah, because it's actually simulating like you're shifting.
Correct.
Which is one thing I'm going to be honest that I didn't like about the SMG and the E46 M3 that I had.
Right. And in the very beginning, it didn't make sense. You were like, really? So I have a clutch, but I don't have a clutch. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So what a lot of people would do is install a drive-by-wire system that as soon as you step on the first, as soon as you step on the gas with the SMG, the drive-by-wire would give a little more throttle to the vehicle. Kind of like what's called a pedal commander. Almost.
I see. Okay.
Where that lag is not there. So if you had a red light in your SMG, you step on the gas, there's like a second in between before it finally kicks in.
Correct. Right.
You do drive-by-wire, that is gone.
Well, the other thing that I hate about the SMG from the first and second gear is exactly like when you put it in automatic mode, not in manual mode, and you put the gear ratio, and it starts from second gear, and then if you don't time it perfectly, like it'll go back to first or something like that. Right. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna burn the clutch if it keeps on doing me like that. Like, I can't afford this. But I did some research online for my platform. They were saying that it is best to not put it in automatic SMG mode.
Why is that?
Because it'll burn up the clutch more.
Really?
They said you're better off driving in a manual.
Really?
The whole time, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which was really interesting. For my platform, I don't know how it is for the M3s because you guys have DCTs, but for the SMGs, they were saying that, dude, just drive in a manual mode, you're better off. And I think it makes sense because when you're in automatic mode, right, let's say when you're down on the highway, right, you go from like 7th gear down to like 4th gear or 3rd gear going 80, right? Well, that's a lot of pressure that's going on to the clutch to change so many gears at an instant, right? But if you work your way down, you're just like, okay, I'm taking my steps, so I'm not going to pressure that much in the clutch.
And one thing that you have to remember is with DCT, as you're downshifting, you have to take your foot off the gas. Don't ever downshift while your foot is still on the gas.
With the SMG, so you don't have to.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yeah, but yeah.
Yes and no.
But we get what you're saying.
Just if you want your clutch to last longer,
correct.
Get your foot
off the gas. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I remember with the guys that would drive it, when they would first get out of the mechanic shop, they're like, okay, well, if you're driving an SMG, let it shift first, and then do it. And I'm just like, that defeats the purpose, though, in a way.
It does.
But it is what it is.
But what's funny is I drive my DCT in auto mode all the time. The only time I drive it in manual mode is if I'm racing.
Why?
I just like to chill on my back, let the car do its thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Plus, with the tune that I have, it's still tuned even if it's an automatic.
You know what I hate about my tune?
What's that?
It can't handle cold weather.
Did you tell that to DME?
Not yet, but I kind of can't blame him for that, though, because that's still my decision at the end of the day. But ultimately, I just let the car warm up. But I still blame myself because I should have heat wrapped my headers, and I didn't. If I heat wrapped my headers, I think it would have been a different story. And now I understand why everybody heat wraps their headers.
Yeah, but yours are loud, man.
Yeah, it's freaking loud. And we're going to BMW Invasion in a month from now.
You excited about that?
Yeah, I'm excited to run their rally. So I know there's a lot of people.
That's a privilege, man.
Yeah, I reached out to them and they came back and said, it's our first time coming to Dallas. We didn't understand how the BMW community is huge in Texas. I was like, yeah. I was like, and if you guys want to run a rally here, I'll help you guys out. And they said, sure, absolutely. So I will be at the show.
Very nice.
And my mufflers will be off.
Your mufflers will be off?
My mufflers will be off.
So we'll be able to hear you some more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I want to win the exhaust competition. That's like my plan. And if I don't, I think, and to be honest, the reason why I think with my mufflers, I feel like I'm clogging up too much air in my exhaust. I don't think even though it's a top speed muffler, I just feel like the airflow just isn't enough. I feel like there's a little bit of clog in there.
So you're being restricted.
Yeah. Even though I don't have secondary cats, even though I don't have a resonator, I have an X pipe going all the way through.
A straight pipe going back?
A straight pipe going back, yeah. I think that would sound better versus the muffler, yeah.
My gosh.
But it sounds amazing, though. You've heard my car.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt your car too, man. I'm driving next to you, man. I feel like I'm in your car.
Really?
Yeah, that's how loud it is.
Yeah, but no, your car is something else. I mean, we've had our fair share in Mexico.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
But it's unfair, though. We're outmatched. I'm outmatched. It's like a mismatch.
It is. I mean,
it's like a tight end on a quarterback.
That's. Well, yeah. I mean, when you're naturally aspirated versus boost is eventually going to take the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can hang so much. until certain RPMs.
But if you didn't
kick
have
in.
that supercharger, I would have won every time.
Oh, hold on. That's not necessarily true.
Why?
Just because you have 2 more cylinders doesn't mean you're still going to win.
I'm saying, but with my current setup and without your boost.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I have a friend. His name is Tacos.
Uh-huh.
He drives a manual 6-speed
Yeah?
M3.
Yeah?
And he's pretty fast, and he's naturally aspirated.
Hmm.
So I challenge him to duel with you in a run.
To duel with me? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely okay with that.
I think he'll be able to represent pretty good.
We'll see.
Yeah, he's a good driver.
We'll see. We'll see. I have a good bunch of N54 335i guys that want to challenge you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
They want to challenge you. Yeah.
They want to challenge.
They have talked about it on North Texas Beamer Club.
Really?
Yeah, they've been asking. They've been asking for you. I can tell you who they are.
Well, I'll tell you this before you even tell me.
Yeah.
So what you have to remember is when I first got the E92, I was one of the first few to have it supercharged
Okay.
in the area.
Okay.
Now that the E92 is no longer being made, it's a little more affordable to buy. Now everybody's buying them and supercharging them.
Correct.
So I was one of the originators. So when I first got the car, I was actually one of the fastest ones.
Right.
Right? Now I'm not fast like that anymore because I haven't taken the car to the next level. Right? And what I say by that is I can either get a bigger blower, right? Maybe start building the motor, maybe add methanol, things like that.
Or go forged.
Or go forged, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to be very honest with you, I'm to a point where I just don't want to throw that much more money into this vehicle.
Well, you're at the peak with the car at this point.
For full bolt-ons and supercharger, yeah, I'm at the max what you could possibly do.
I'm on the same boat with me. I'm full bolt-on stage 2, and I get people saying that, well, why would you put a supercharger on it? I'm like, dude, my car's got 145,000 miles on it. What do you expect?
Right.
It ain't gonna happen.
But don't let that stop you, though.
I won't let it, well, which is why I'm going to buy another E60 M5 down the road. My plan is to buy another E60 M5 down the road, manual with less than 50,000 miles, and I will have a rear mount twin turbo kit built for that car.
Jeez.
Yes.
Insane.
I will do that.
Yeah,
once I make it, I will do it.
Yeah, power goals? You have like numbers that you want to try and reach?
800, 670, 680 to the wheel. That's 6.5 pounds of boost.
So have you thought about getting like an F90
No.
M5?
I used
twin
to.
turbo V8?
I used to.
Those will get you there real quick.
Yeah, but I don't want the clutch. I hate the clutch. It's a dry clutch. What am I going to do with a dry clutch?
Okay. So it's a personal preference.
It's a personal preference. I'd rather have a E63 AMG S with bigger turbos.
Okay.
That is a 9-speed automatic, right?
Okay.
And a tune.
So you want to save gas while you're hauling ass, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's a 9.89 second car. And I have ceramic brakes,
Yeah,
but with the F90 competition package, yeah, I can do so much with it, but the clutch is not going to handle it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much power that's going to be added to it,
Right.
But when we go down that road, it's like you might as well get a GT3 RS or a GT3 at that point, Or, as everybody says,
it's about the same price point.
Yeah, but as I said, I want to get the GTR. So if I get the GTR, I have.
So you want Nissan GTR?
I want a GTR.
Is that your dream car?
No, it's not my dream car.
Because it's funny. There's a lot GTRs out here in DFW.
Absolutely, there's a big crowd for them.
For a car that's really expensive and expensive to maintain, and they hold their value.
Absolutely, they don't depreciate.
They don't. They have
same thing with the 911 Carreras. They don't depreciate.
Correct. Difference with GTR though is they have a lot of transmission issues.
Well,
the early models like 08.
Well,
so like 12s and 13s.
Yeah,
have a lot of transmission
but
issues.
that's not what I'm going to get. Mine's going to be at least 2014 and up.
Okay.
Yeah, so better platform, obviously, and and here's the thing. Even with that being said, the reason why I would even want that GTR is because I can build up to 3,300 horsepower if I wanted to.
Yeah, you can.
Gradually.
That's why you see those cars running 5-6 seconds on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, like the M's are a great platform. I love my M5. There's no doubt about that. But it's like you said, I'm already at its peak. I'm full bolt-on, stage 2. What am I really going to do with a supercharger? It's like when a lot of people ask me, like, what are you going to do with it?
You would enjoy the car if it was boosted. Trust me.
I would have enjoyed the car if it was boosted, but I would rather have a less mile car to do it with than do it with where it's at right now. Not with 145,000 miles, maybe with 50,000 miles. I could do it, but then again, what's wrong with twin turbos on a V10 platform, right?
Nothing's wrong with twin
Nothing's
turbos.
wrong with that, and like I said, we all want something different, right? So to me, I'm just like, okay, that's very unique. That's very different.
It is.
So. I really don't care what anybody else says. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to track it? No, I just want to come up to somebody and say, I got an M5 E60, and it's got a twin turbo on it. 2 Garrett turbos on it.
They're gonna be look at you like, what the fuck?
This guy's an idiot.
No, they might actually be like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, like when G Power first came out with all their kits, dude, your car went from 500 horsepower to like what 710, 720.
Now let me say something about G Power. You're talking about Gentani.
Not Gentani, no, G Power.
The G Power. Okay,
yeah, over in Germany. Yeah,
okay. Well,
Gentani is a different story.
They call one of their systems G Power too. That's
Interesting. Yeah, no, Gentani. All I know is Gentani with their supercharger kit that they've made for the M5 V60s with a blower, you make close to 1,000 horsepower.
Well, they also make a twin turbo kit for the E92.
Correct.
Car.
Correct.
But it's $20,000.
Yes.
Okay, and you have to take your car to Cali.
Yes.
And you have to leave it with them.
Yes.
So they can put it together for you.
Correct.
They will not ship you the parts.
Correct.
You can't do it yourself.
And what's his name? Alex Gentani?
Alex from Gentani. He's the owner.
Yeah. Alex said that he does not build twin turbo kits anymore for the E92s.
Well, I'll say this, and you can quote me on the air.
Okay.
I called Gentani to ask about that turbo.
When was this?
About 3 years ago.
Are you talking about the blue one that he built? The E92 blue one? It's still there.
He was marketing the twin turbos on his website.
Correct.
And I was interested in buying them, even though I was already supercharged. I figured, let me get rid of the supercharger. Let me twin turbo it.
You're gonna win on my printer. It's okay.
It's okay,
no worries.
man.
Yeah.
Wants to be part of the action too.
It's all good.
So I called Alex.
Okay.
And the minute I told him I had a VF supercharger, he just became a total douchebag. Like,
why?
Because he's not willing to help you if you have a supercharger from a different vendor. If you didn't buy it from him, he really doesn't want to talk to you. Gives you an attitude, like treats you like shit. You know what I mean? And to me, the main thing is when you're going to buy something from a shop and spend a lot of money like that,
right?
Customer service is key.
So obviously you were frustrated at Gentani.
Yeah. So I was frustrated because, he wasn't willing to really help me because I had a supercharger from somebody else, right? And to me, I said, well, does it matter that I don't have a Gentani supercharger or from ESS or Active Auto Works, all these other places? I got it from VF.
Okay.
So he pretty much did not want to help me, and he told me that if I wanted to get the car turboed from him, I would have to ship him the car, right? Leave it in Cali for at least a month. And
that's even if he was going to have it ready in a month, right?
Yeah, who knows?
That's stupid. I'm sorry to hear that.
So because of that, it completely turned me off, and I just decided not to do it. So what I decided to do is add E85 to the M3 instead. So that's when I went with Advanced Fuel Dynamics. I was actually their very first car that they put that system on that was supercharged.
Okay. I
drove down to Austin, went to this place called Eurocharged. Very nice guys there, awesome dudes.
That's where one of the guys with his E63S got his car.
Yes.
Do you know that individual?
I don't know him by name.
Okay.
But I believe I know the vehicle. So,
you know the vehicle. Have you seen the vehicle?
Not recently, no.
Okay, all right. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, but we went down there, and those guys, they put the M3 on the dyno with the supercharger on, of course. We added the flex fuel kit, so we ran it with just full 93.
Okay.
See what the car would make. At the time, it was making about 530 to the wheels.
Okay.
We went as far as the 61% ethanol at the time, and we were using E90.
Okay.
Different type of E85. It's like Ignite Red, like pure ethanol. And the car right off the bat went to 576. Added 50 horsepower just at 60% ethanol. So then what we did is we went 100%.
Okay.
We went 100% and we got the car to go about 620 to the wheels. So from there, that's how I baseline it, right? So when I'm racing, I see how much E85 I have in the vehicle. It's 80%, 90%, almost 100%. If I'm at a true 100%, I know that I'm not over 600 to the wheels on the vehicle because I've had it dynoed before that way. So the problem with the E90 series is they make no torque, man. They just make no torque.
Yeah, my car doesn't even make any torque. When I took it to tune it, what was it? A couple of weeks, not tune it, dynoed a month ago, I think, and I had a fuel pump issue. So I'm gonna tell NRG or Colton to dyno my car again because the power bandwidth only went up to like 6,500, 7,000 RPM.
Really?
Yeah, and at that point it was only at 470 with like 340 to the wheel. Yeah.
Really?
And I think I'm higher than that. I think I'm higher than that.
Have you thought of putting 85?
We've talked about that before. I'm just too scared that I'm going to blow up my engine. Let's just be honest about that. Even though it might work for you, it might work for different platforms. I mean, every single setup is different.
Don't forget, you have the same motor I do.
I understand I have the same motor you do, but the thing is that I don't know if it's a sequence of my motor. I don't know if it's the tune. I don't know what it is, but for some odd reason, a lot of people have not been successful with the E85 tune in terms of engine reliability.
I see.
I've heard a lot of people blowing up their engines because they're E85s.
Well,
especially in the E60 platform.
But you got to remember, you have to once you get E85, you have to have the right injectors,
correct,
fuel pump,
correct,
the right tune.
If
you have all that, you should be fine, man.
I agree with all that, but I just don't want to risk it. At this stage, at the car that is in right now, at 140,000 miles. Somebody says if it had like 20 or 30,000 miles, like it would make sense to do it then, right?
Have you ever thought of building the motor?
No.
Why not? What happens if the motor goes kaboom right now?
I'm just gonna get another motor.
Why don't you just build the one you have?
Well, it all depends.
It gives you more reason to.
It gives you more reason to, but then again, with how I've taken care of this car, I'm confident that the motor's going to be fine. In my personal opinion.
Okay.
My personal opinion. I know a lot of people might disagree. Say, well, you drive the shit out of your car. Yeah, I drive the shit out of my car, but I maintain my car at the end of the day.
Right.
Does it make sense? Just because you can't afford to maintain your oil, on time doesn't mean that I can't. Right.
And that's a very good point, because people who buy BMWs have to realize shit's not cheap.
A lot of people don't. I had a kid that bought a M5 E60, had like 158,000 miles on it, bought it for $7 or $8 grand, right? Yeah, okay. 2008, and I was like, okay. Well, he comes up to me, and next day he calls me. He's like, hey man, I don't know why, but my car's been misfiring ever since. And I was like, have you been driving it with a misfire the whole entire time? Yeah. Okay, well, if you want to keep driving like that, you might as well blow up your motor right now. I was like, why? I was like, because even though it goes in safety mode, you're still driving with a car with a misfire. It's a V10 engine, dude. It's not a joke. And then they had the throttle actuator problems, and once you see the problems, you're like, okay, I understand what they're. But in my opinion, though, I still think the platform itself can be more affordable if people were more realistic on how to repair those items at the same in that perspective, right?
Right.
But let's be honest, though, it's just way too much maintenance. It's way too much maintenance.
It is, but you also have an M car, man.
Correct. And, at the end of the day, everybody's going to complain and bitch about their M's. I still complain about it. You still complain about it, right? At the end of the day. But the thing is that the reason why we still aren't going to get rid of it is because that car does something that a lot of cars don't do. Does that make sense? It could be from the sound. It could be from, the drivability of it. It could just be the reliability of keeping it maintained.
And don't forget, on your car, you're the last V10 ever made. I'm the last V8 naturally aspirated ever made.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
These are collector's items now.
They are.
Just like the E36 you just got?
Correct.
Okay, that's a collector's item.
Correct.
Right? So give it another 10 years, your car, my car, it's going to be wanted everywhere because nobody can find a V8 or a V10.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And with me, I just, like I said, I've already told you, I'm already telling you about this. I'm going to buy another M5 V60 down the road. And I will be patient for it. And I want to find one. I had found one with 15,000 miles. And I kind of regret not buying it. It was an 06. Okay. It had the executive package. It had the full 9 yards. And it had the 20-inch rims, not the 19-inch rims that are on my car. It had the M6, 5-spoke rims. Only had 15,000 miles on it. And the thing is that it was a show car for BMW. It was a showroom car. Really? It was a manufacturer car. It was not a personal car. It was not a lease car. It did not have an owner.
So it was more like a demo in a sense? Okay.
So if I would have bought that car, I would have fully built it. Does that make sense?
You can still do that now, man.
I can still do that now, but with the whole entire COVID situation going on in the job market, I got to be patient with it. But for now, my goal right now is to get the E36 up and running right now. It's currently trying to get a paint job right now. Hopefully I'll get it ready by next week.
At Garcia's?
Yes.
Garcia's Auto Body?
At a Garcia's Auto Body, yeah. Okay, this is really weird. They actually reached out to me this morning.
Okay.
They reached out to me. They're like, hey, man, congrats. Would you like to do anything with your car? And I straight up told them, I was like, sponsor. I was like, do you want to sponsor me, or do you want to, or, I don't mind coming out there and see what's going on. And then another guy messaged me. He's like, dude, I know you. Yeah, I work at Garcia's, and yeah, man, bro, please bring your car. And then David at Dallas Beamer, he reached out to me. He was like, hey, man, I know Nikki and I know Garcia Paint and Body Work. Definitely take your car. And I went there and they gave me a hookup, man. So I'm pretty
Nice.
excited to see what the car is going to look like in a week.
So you're gonna paint the car.
Yes.
Okay. Instead of wrapping it, you're gonna paint it.
I'm not going to wrap it. I will paint it. I want to paint it to the original color. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is what color is the green?
Fern green.
Fern.
Yeah.
Green.
And as of right now, from all the research I've done on the market, I'm the only one in the state of Texas that has it in green.
Really?
Yes.
Man, one of a kind.
One of a kind. And it's got that coffee tan
And it's convertible
interior.
too.
It's a convertible. It's got the coffee tan interior, but the previous owner that had it apparently didn't do a good job with the front seats. So it needs new front seats. And then the top, I'm really considering on putting a hard top on it.
Okay. That would look sick.
Absolutely. But the thing is that they're really hard to find.
So the seats you have are the Vader seats. They're called the Vader seats.
Okay.
36.
What's unique about the Vader
They
seats?
should have 3 stripes.
They do.
They should have 3 stripes somewhere on the seat,
They do.
and the design of it
Okay.
makes it into a Vader seat. That's the only M3 that has that type of seat.
Interesting.
Because if you notice, every M3, well,
Uh-huh.
even M5s,
Uh-huh.
mainly M3s because that's the heritage.
Right.
Every model that comes out, they change the seats up. Like the new G80 M3, the seats in there look like racing seats. They look like Recaros or Sparcos,
Interesting. Okay.
right? The F80s that you've seen, they're all over there.
Right.
F82s,
Mhm.
you've seen them. The M logo lights up.
Right.
Those are unique.
Right.
E90s that we have, they
Mhm.
say M3 on the headrest,
Right.
but
Mine just says M on.
Yours just says- well, yeah, actually, they just say M. They don't say
Right,
M3, they
right,
say
right.
M.
Yeah.
But they're all unique.
Right.
And every build, every model that they make. So you have what's called the Vader seats. Those are actually
Interesting.
what I would suggest is just reupholster them.
Reupholster them.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how I can get the heated seat edition work because the heated seats don't work.
It might be a fuse, might be a plug.
Who knows? Yeah. But if I can upholster them for a affordable price, yeah, I'll do it. Otherwise, I was going to look for racing seats for them.
Yeah,
My
like
plan,
Vader
here was the
seats,
thing.
yeah.
This was my backup plan the whole entire time. Like if it didn't work, I was going to make it into a track car. I was going to literally delete the door panels and get the custom door panels made for them.
Right.
I was going to delete the glove box and put a delete edition on it, and then put racing seats in the front and call it a day. And then Tuner Motorsports has a backseat deletion of it. I was thinking about putting it in the back and then putting a hard top on it and just say, hey, this is a track car.
I'll tell you what, everybody who tracks BMWs, E36 is their first choice. That or E30s.
Is it because of the weight, or is it because of the how easy you can work on the motor?
It's mainly the motor.
Yeah.
They love
It is
that
a
motor.
reliable motor.
It's
I
a
mean,
very reliable motor.
me and Eric Tacos, when we drove it, how fast were we going yesterday? 100, 110 miles an hour on the E36 M3.
How'd it feel?
Oh, took forever. it went 0 to 60 tomorrow, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it was in I think I can mode?
Yeah, pretty much. But the handling on it, and it was really really impressive. But,
Yeah, and see that chassis itself,
Mhm.
there's so many ways to manipulate that chassis to make it track ready
Uh-huh.
that it's amazing. So if you go to a lot of the shops out here, I'll give you a good example. Texas Track Works in Fort Worth
Uh-huh.
by TCU. That's all they do is E36 most of the times.
Interesting.
Where Taco's brother goes, GSR Motorsports, they work
Uh-huh.
on E36s.
I see.
Where I'm going now, Emporium as well, they E36s.
Emporium, okay.
Yeah. So that car, if they say, okay, which M3 would you want to take to
Mm-hmm.
the track? E36 seems to be the choice than the E92.
I think just because of the weight distribution,
Well, the inline motor
handling,
too,
and the
motor.
inline motor, yeah, you can do so much with it. Otherwise, I think
But
the top.
But how does it feel going from a V10 to a V6?
Oh my god! I mean, I just love saving gas. Yeah, to save gas, but then again, well, it's like I said yesterday. Like I was just shocked. Like I was just sitting there, like just enjoying the moment. Just like wow, I'm a proud owner of an M5 V10. I have a E36 M3, and the guy that was at Garcia's, he has an E36 M3 that he's rebuilding.
Okay.
He's trying to get it repainted, and it's a manual coupe. So,
Nice.
but he has an E39 M5
Those are hard to find.
manual. Yeah.
Those are very hard
Yeah,
to
and
find.
I sat in it. He actually brought me home, and I said, "Okay, well, you had fun. I had fun in your car. Now it's my turn to take you in the V10." And it was his first time in a V10. E60 M5, yeah.
Nice.
And I told him, he was like, "Bro, my cars are turds." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "You have two M's." I was like, "I have two M's." I was like, "If anything, mine are turd." I'm like, "I have the most unreliable platform, right, in the M3, in the M5." and then this one, I don't know what I'm going to do with it or where I'm going to be with it. But apparently, a lot of people, they just enjoy the E36 platform. There's really something unique about it. But I think ultimately, though, I think the E46 platform is the all-time greatest.
You like
platform.
the E40? Yeah, E46 is just raw. The car feels more raw.
Yes.
You're more in control.
Well, I mean, even in the manual aspect of that car, it's just.
Yeah, the only thing is that car has a lot of subframe issues.
It does. I do agree with that, but still,
once you take care of that, you're good, man.
Yeah, but you think about the engine reliability, you think about the transmission by itself. I mean, compared to our V8s and our V10,
You like that S54, huh?
Who doesn't like the S54? You can do so much with the S54. You can do so much with the S54. You can't do so much with the S65 and the S85s.
No, you can, and if you do, it's going to cost you big money.
Correct. Like you said, that twin turbo kit was $20,000.
Yes.
My twin turbo kit,
Now,
$22,000.
Now, granted, Dynan, right? They sell a stroker motor,
correct,
4.4 stroker for the M3. Costs about $35,000.
And then for the M5 that they've built, they started having issue after 20 or 30,000 miles, because the guy that builds the E60 motors,
right?
He builds strokers, right? And his are between $15,000 and $20,000 to build, right?
That's actually not that bad.
No, because he can make it a 5.0, 5.2, 5.5, 5.8 or 7, and then the 6.0 stroker. And there's a guy in Dallas that has a 6.0 stroker V10 E60 M5 with NOS 250 shot.
Jesus.
Yes.
My gosh.
Yes.
Did we ever see that guy? Is he ever around?
No, he's like once in a million. Yeah. But it's like you said. But in my opinion, we definitely need to talk more, because I definitely do have a couple more questions that you got on here. But I think this was really interesting for now. It's been a wonderful experience with you having here on the show.
Absolutely.
And I for sure need to get you on board again. So we will definitely do this again. And do you have any questions or any feedback?
Any feedback? No, just shout out to yourself.
Appreciate
it. Podcast. Everybody,
wonderful.
Make sure you subscribe.
Absolutely, yeah. Follow, like, and subscribe. And what's your Instagram?
Oh, my Instagram for this vehicle is slow_E92_M3.
And mine is at iFlyGreat. And we just want to thank you guys for watching us, and thanks for having us. And we're signing off.
See you later.